Are you scared yet? Are you scared yet? This is a Jaxville guitar. There's nothing special about the guitar. They're fairly inexpensive. I've looked them up and they come from a little town in not far from Cambridge. And I suspect the owner is a house builder or something like that there, who's got the idea of bringing in cheap guitars and spray painting them, or getting them spray painted somewhere in these unique little colors and designs. I don't think they're up to much. They're not awful, but they're not really desired or sought after. You can get them for 50, 60, 70 pounds second hand, but they're called a Jaxville guitar. Right. Now, the only reason I'm showing you this, two reasons actually, because the trim is completely locked. I want to see why that is. It needs a good setup, and it's a perfect example of, I'll be able to show you, it's a perfect example of how to bring down your strings to an acceptable playing height, because this is high all over the place and needs a good setup. Pickups the wrong height. These are up high, and I don't know why they're up high. So we're going to put on the big light. Now, the problem with me showing you the way I do it is probably not the way other people would do it. But I'm going to use my saw and bring this down. I don't think you can see, but I'm going to bring it down level with the fret. That may not be enough, but I'm going to bring it down level with the fret. Now, one thing you can see with this automatically is that these grooves are too deep, but I'm only doing this to get it down to what I consider to be the right height. And when I get it to the right height for all of them, I'll use a file and bring it down to bring that groove level down to this, just sitting above it. Now, that is it. That's it sitting at the right height. Let me just check it. But it still can come down. That's the same level as the pick. So this should be a fatter file than I'm using, but this just seems to fit in this. So I'm going to bring it down more. This is plastic, so it will get a little bit sticky at the end because the plastic will build up. All right. Now, there's all sorts of mathematical things you can do, but it's not that hard. Use your eye. Still high. Still high. In my humble opinion, it's still high. So it's going to come down more. I did straighten this neck, didn't I? Oh, come on. You did straighten it, didn't you? I think you did. I know you did, but I'm dumb. I'm going to check it again. Yes, it's straight. Just a little bit of a problem there. I thought it wasn't straight. Now, it's getting down fairly low, and I don't think I can take it down much more than that, but I'm going to take it down as far as I can. Let me just take away that little bit there. Okay. Now that is still not enough as far as I'm concerned. Let me just check something here. It may be me being timid, but let me check something. Yes, this last fret here, this last part of the fretboard is going up slightly. So that's why I'm getting it coming almost down to the fretboard. I don't think you can see that, but it's almost coming up slightly. So I'm going to use a slightly broader file. It's not doing anything. That's it now. I can feel it biting. That's almost down to the level of the fretboard. And that is where I want it. I don't know whether you can see that I've almost gone down to the level of the fretboard, but that's got a great action now. Maybe too great an action. We'll soon find out. No, not too great an action. I'm going to do the same with this one now. Just using me eye. Just using me wee eye. I could put a little feeler gauge in there so that I don't go too far. Let me just see if I put a... These are old feeler gauges, by the way. They're not good new ones. If I put that down below, yeah, that will give me that little bit of protection. All right, okay. No, it's too low now. I know I have. All right, so I'm going to have to bring that up a tiny touch. I'll do that at the end. Right, okay. I'll do that after all has been said and done. These are nice sharp saws. The E string was harder, that's why it... Oh, that's beautiful. Lovely jobbly. Oh, I see, right. So these strings here look to be pretty good and don't need an awful lot. It was mostly the E string. And yeah, it was mostly the E string and the A string. The G string, the B string is still a bit high, so let's bring the B string down a bit. Believe it or not, it's easier on a nut made of bone than it is on a nut made of plastic. Of course, I don't need you to, and I think you probably know that already. Right, that's perfect. And the E string could come down a little bit. Yeah, I'm being fussy. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more, the G string. Yeah, it'll look good. Now, I've gone too far with this one. Too far down. Maybe even with the E string I've gone too far down, but we'll see. Let's... Yes, I have gone too far down with those last two. So I'm going to bring them up again. And I'll show you how I do that in a second. Pause. Fortunately, with this one, I need to bring the whole thing down. So I'll just use the file to bring it down to roughly where I need it. And you probably will notice that as I file, those little gaps fill up with powder from the fret, from the nut, should I say. And you can guess what I'm going to do next. It needs to come down a fair amount. Ideally, the string should be sitting half in and half out of the hole. Maybe 60-40, 60% in and 40% out. That's not always easy to do. In the likes of Rory Gallagher's guitar, the strings were barely in the nut at all, but that was just through an accident over time that the guitar was still able to play. It's now only used for studio work. Let me just move that down. All you see that I've done is I put a little bit of Velcro to hold the strings back and a bit of tape, because I'm going to put... Well, you tell me what I'm going to do before I do it. Let me see how far I have to go down. Still a fair amount down there at this end. Looks pretty good. Where's 32? 32, where are you? There you are. Not too much. Let me just a bit more at this. Now, what I'm going to hopefully do, is drop a little bit of super glue into the two that are too low and use the powder that I just filed off. It will go brick hard. Oh, God bless us and save us in Ulster and all the people in it. God. Hurt my wee finger doing that. Well, let me just see. A drop of super glue. Come on, give me a drop. Right, there's a drop coming. It's too sharp a point. I need to get rid of the point to give me a drop. That's it now. Come on, go in there. That's it. Now I'm happy. And that hardens very quickly. And then I just file it down again, this time to the proper size. I was too enthusiastic the first time. Okay, so I'm going to pause while that hardens. It'll only take a few minutes. Now that has hardened. And what I'm going to do now, I put tape on, I put 2 layers of tape. I'm going to put a slight bevel on it. And that's why the tape is there, to protect the gloss. What I'm doing by putting a bevel on it, instead of a square, it'll have a point, almost a point for the intonation, rather than a flat surface for intonation. So I wouldn't be doing this on this guitar normally, but I think it's worth for people to see if they've got a guitar that's fussy on intonation or anything like that. You can see why I have the tape there, because it's a little bit awkward to do. I better pay attention to it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of more protection there. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting a little bit of metal there, but you can see nothing. Let me move you around there. Maybe you can see something. I'll put the metal there, and then I'm not scratching the guitar, I'm scratching the little bit of metal. You see I hit it again, that's why that tape's there. Because it's very shallow, this one. Because we want really good action, so it's very shallow. So if I'm pressing against it, the file slides off. Ideally, the best way to do this is to take it off and do it. But I'm not going to do that in this instance. I'm damaging the tape. So don't damage the tape, put more tape on. It's very shallow. I'll put another layer of tape on as well, so that I can get this side with a better intonation point. Right, let's just, instead of talking, concentrate, Austin. No. Just a little bit of sandpaper to polish it up, to make it look pretty, and then I'll just adjust that. I'll just adjust that, those ones that I need to bring up a bit. Just reset them again. Okay, where are we with the brush? So those are all looking super, and I'll just redo, if I find the right 32, right, okay, and bring it down a bit this time, but not as far as I took it before. Okay, and I use the 36 for this. Okay, tidy it up. Take the tape off. Take the Velcro off the strings. Put these strings in. Put the E string back in again. You can see the E string is sitting, and it's still not low enough. I need to bring it down another bit, but not going crazy this time. And maybe I need a 42. 53, where's the 42? There it is there. It's steep enough, it's just not wide enough. That's better. And you can see the way it's sitting right in it. Beautiful. right action too, and this one has got the right action too, yeah. And there, right, okay, and the string tree, and the string trees, and let me just a bit of 2000 sandpaper just to polish off the edges. And then what I do now is I go and tune it up, push the camera back a bit, tune it up. Or, no, I tell you what I'm going to do now. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'll do it off camera so you're not bored. I'm going to give the frets a bit of a polish just with 2000 sandpaper. And then I'll come back to you after I've polished and oiled the fretboard. Might as well do it while the strings are loose. Why wait for spring? Do it now, eh? Even though this is only a setup, you might as well do the little bit of housekeeping when you can. I'm putting the Velcro strap on again, bringing the strings down beneath the fretboard, and another one up there, put another one down at the other end, and then I'll do a sandpaper. Maybe I will put the camera on, speed through it. Okay, I am going to speed through this. I'm using 2000 sandpaper, just going to polish the frets and oil the fretboard, and that's about it. So I let that soak in a good 10 minutes, and now I clean off the residue, and I'm going to, I don't have to string it. Something about stringing guitars, such a pain. Why can't they automatically find guitars that will automatically string and automatically go into tune for you? That's the first person that's going to make a fortune. Not of me, because I wouldn't buy one of those because it's too expensive, but automatic stringing, a spool of guitar strings below it that feeds it and automatically feeds it. I'm going to make a fortune, aren't I? I'm going to make a fortune for that. Right, what I'm going to do now is take off these things and check the string height, the pickup height, get it in tune, get it intonated, and oh gosh, I bought some new of these. The Velcro's getting very fierce these days. Right, so I'll speed through this. Okay, trust me, put it in the wrong way around. Especially when I'm going to work on the intonation. But I'm going to pause now to get the intonator tight, the intonator Allen key, and come back to you. Right, intonation. Shall I go through this? Yes, I should go through this, shouldn't I? We get the string as close to tuned as you can. For intonation, it doesn't matter about the tuning, but it might be a good way to start off. Stop talking, affecting your tuning, Austin. Right, that's an E. So that is an E, and the 12th fret's an E. So the distance from there to their intonation point should be the same from the saddle. In this case, it's sort of like a metal saddle to there. So whenever you press that, in this case, it's a perfect E. It went green there. A. Haha, lucky. We don't need to move anything. Yeah, this has been intonated. Little bit flat, which means the string has to be shortened just a bit. So I loosen it, and that'll allow the distance from there to there to be shorter. Put it back into tune again for B. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, so the intonation on this is pretty good. So it wasn't much of a lesson for you, so I wonder if it's worth speeding it up. Now the pickups are quite low, so let's get the pickups to where they belong. Further away the pickups are to the strings, the quieter the pickups will be. You don't want the strings touching them ever though, because that will wear away the pickup and be ugly looking, and it'll cause you some buzz too whenever you're playing hard. So let me just see. Come on, get this. That's it. So those look all okay. Now maybe this one I put up slightly high. So, right, let's give it a clean. And then, once I've given it a clean and a polish and a dust, it's going back to Daddy. I'll just give you a little play on it. Can't play you anything exciting because I can't play anything exciting. But I'll play a little tune to let you hear it. Not a bad guitar. The guy paid a very, very, very good price for it, so you can't complain about that. I'll pause, change cameras and let you hear it. Well, there you are. It's going back to Daddy. It's had its action brought down considerably. The action right across the guitar is now excellent. Pickups are good, and it's going back. There wasn't much more that I did to it. I'm a little bit out of the picture there, but anyway, we'll see it. You know, it's just let you hear it. It was the first guitar I picked up for a long time that when I tuned it that way and I picked it up this way, it stayed in tune. That's because that's locked, and also because the neck is very tight on it, which is a good thing. So for what it is, you know, it's an inexpensive guitar and stays in tune well, which I'm very pleased about. I checked all the knobs to make sure everything was tight and tuned, and I have, is there much point to it? I do have The trem arm I was going to give the chap, but this is locked, so there's no point in having a trem arm. I'm not going to give it to somebody who wants a trem arm. I'm slightly out of the picture here, sorry about that, but there you go. And it's a nice guitar. Great action, you know. The action is got the pick standard. Actually, the pick's too fat. This pick is too fat for it. But if I can put a pick under the front first fret and it doesn't touch the string, that's the standard I sort of go for, because nice thin action. But this pick is too fat, so the action on this is better, you know. Cricky. Oh, what have I done there? Oh, something went clicky there. Let's just... B has gone out of tune. Why did the B go out of tune suddenly? Maybe it fell into the gap a bit more of the nut. You heard the little click there as it did it, didn't you? Didn't you? And then end of my favorite chord. All right, okay, bye-bye, back to daddy. Bye-bye, 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 Susie.